I wanted to talk to you about your movie, The World's End. It's about your character initiates this pub crawl.
Yeah.
That he wants to go on, this epic pub crawl.
12 pubs.
12 pubs. And I'm curious, have you ever partaken in a pub crawl? I never did it. I never did a pub crawl in my life.
No, I was more of a mind to go somewhere and stay there. Yeah. What's the point of walking?
Yeah.
I never got those
When you're
things.
drinking, it gets harder and harder anyway. So I would always camp out. But there is this thing, we have it in the UK, mainly sort of guys on a bachelor party, nurses. Specific groups will do it.
Groups of nurses?
Oh, yeah. They're hardcore.
And then they go back to work and
they
start
carry on.
injecting chemicals into people. That's great. That's terrific.
But, you know, it's this thing of you have one pint and you move to the next pub and you have another pint and you go on as long until you die. Or less bad.
You went on one once?
No, yeah, we did. I went on. Nick Frost, who's in the film with me. I went on. The last one I went on with was on. No, it was my stag do. Which was a bachelor party. We call it stag do.
Stag do?
It's a stag do.
You say you guys have such kooky names for things, and
it's
or
our
maybe
language.
What? No. You're always like, have a chimney blicket, What? It's a cookie. It's a chimney blicket. Oh, like, wait, yeah.
It's called a stag. Well, you call it a stag night, but then when you have a party, you have a bit of a do.
Yeah.
So that becomes a stag do.
Sure.
My one was in Belgium. It was we went to Brussels. We went out in search of a gentleman's bar. We figured, we should do that. We should go to a strip club, basically. We thought we're guys that we should do it. It's just
that's a nicer way to call it, too. Yeah. Gentleman's.
A gentleman's establishment.
Yes.
Yeah, those places are loaded with gentlemen.
Yeah.
Nothing but wall to wall.
Did I say yes? We couldn't find one. Eventually, we found one in some back alley, and it just wasn't very nice. There were a lot of the people there were bruised. It just felt. I mean, the performers. There were
bruised nude dancers.
There was a beautiful sort of Russian dancer on the stage, and she was kind of, this is it. This is where we're supposed to be. And then she turned, and someone would obviously kneed her in the leg.
Oh God, that's depressing.
It was very depressing, and we felt chased, and we left, and we went to a bar. Which was called The Cock, which was a famous... But it's true, as in Rooster.
You're sure it was a bar?
It was a bar, but it struck us...
Welcome to Club Cock.
Yeah. Also a gentleman's club.
But the irony is that we'd spent all night looking for boobs and wound up in the Cock.
Yes. It often happens. I've heard this throughout the years, that acting drunk is one of the hardest things to do. That people tend to overdo it, or
you can
they
get it very
wrong.
wrong, I think,
Yeah, so that you had to, for this role, you had to be very precise in your drunk acting.
We had 12 stages of drunkenness, basically. We did this in rehearsals. We came up with 12 stages of drunkenness. This is offset in the movie because we get into a lot of fights in the pubs.
Right.
And this causes what's called the adrenaline deficit. You know when you get into a bar fight, right?
You betcha.
And you have We've all done it, come on.
Yeah.
And that takes a couple of pints off your drunk awareness. So if we're in pub
Yeah, because
8,
of adrenaline, you become more aware.
It takes the edge off the drunkenness. But and basically, we had 12 stages of drunkenness, which we could drop into at any one time, because, if we're in the first pub, you're not very drunk. To be honest, the first 6 is much of a muchness. You can't really tell. You can cover it up to 6. Round about 7, you get the slow eye blink comes in. It's that. It's very subtle. Back pint 9, you get your neck falls out with your head. So your head just starts wobbling like that.
You're really good at that. So if I just called one out, you could do it.
Yeah.
You're that good.
Give me one.
4.
4. This is that. This is easy. Look. I'm drunk enough to cover it up, so you're not going to see anything. Go above 6. Go up higher.
8.
8. That's just before the neck, so that's just like that.
That was fair. All right, I got to do it. 12.
12. Okay.
12. Here we go. Here's 12.
There are 2 things. 10. You start to lose your short-term memory.
Yeah.
So every 30 seconds, you remember how drunk you are, and you do this. By the time you get to 12, you are in total denial about that. You are convinced that you're sober. Convinced. But you are drunker than you've ever been. So you just dismiss everything, and you do this.